What is up? What is up? Welcome to this Saturday Night Soul Session or Recovery Soul Food Podcast, live with me, your host, creator, LC. I am grateful, honored to be here. Recovery Soul Food is a spiritually based podcast, whole self, whole soul healing, addiction recovery podcast, and I'm grateful to be in these circles. Recovery Soul Food has made a lot of different changes over the years. As I've evolved, it has evolved, and again, super grateful to be here. We're live right now on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different platforms at once. So if you're out there and you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. Please make sure to give StreamYard your permission to share your comment. We can let this be an interactive show. If you have somebody in your world, tag somebody in your world that you think is going through a really hard time. The world is shifting, it's shifting quickly. I want to talk about that tonight. I want to talk about what the recovery community's role is in all of this. I want to talk about just being in fear. Humanity in general, just scared shitless, and a lot of people going through a lot of stuff. I just want to talk a little bit about that tonight. I want to hear where you are in this journey. I want to know what you're going through, and most of all, how you are moving through it. Are you moving through it with grace? Are you struggling? A little bit of both. Just let us know. This is an active and safe space to be in. And again, grateful that you're here. So tag somebody if you think that they might find something inspirational in this video tonight. I hope that's what it becomes, because listen, I show up here with a commitment to just be a channel for whatever message comes through. So sometimes what I have planned out, it does not happen to be the same as what comes out. It really depends on the energy that shows up here and what that needs, what that requires, what that calls for. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. The world is shifting. It's shifting fast. What's our role? How do we move through it? What's the point? Why? How? All of the things. We're going to try to answer all those questions to the best of my own ability, experience, and wisdom. And again, please share your experience. So if you guys are ready to get into this Saturday Night Soul session and you've done all the stuff, you've liked, you've shared, you've subscribed, you've shared this out, well, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What is up? What is up? What is up, Pamela? Happy Saturday. Grateful and honored to be here. I don't know what the heck happened last week. Last week we had just this massive influx of human beings that came to the podcast live, and it was just almost it almost made me nervous. It's not like, I haven't had that many of the little eyeballs showing in a long time, and I started to get nervous and started really feeling like I couldn't get my words out and my sentences out. And so, I it's weird how that changed for me. It's weird how when there was a time when we had a massive reach every single day, and I was doing videos every single morning, and then I had to go down because of life circumstances, when the shift really began in my life, when things really started shifting, I had to step back and take a break. And it's amazing what happens over time, especially when you're going through massive changes in your life over a span of just a few years. And it just seems like to me, since I'd say 2019, 2020, the energy is really happening fast. The world is shifting fast. There is a lot going on right now collectively. I'm going to venture out to say very individually as well, whether you're in the stage of this where you're receiving all of the positive manifestations that you've asked for in your life or that you've been working towards, or whether you're in that place where you're going through a complete other dark night of the soul. Wherever it is that you are, it's all happening, and it's all intense, and it's all happening fast. And I just have this, I bring all this up, and I come here to share about this tonight because I had a couple friends really help pull me out of a very dark place this week. a week where I was questioning myself, a week where I was questioning my ability to be authentically myself, where I just was overwhelmed, had consumed far too much media, had fed too much of the fear beast, um, had really just allowed myself to not be in my practices. As a person on a healing journey and a recovery journey, whatever journey that you're on as a person in that journey, on on your way and understanding just the growth of evolution and how humanity works, and again, on a big scale and a small scale. As a person going through that, there comes this time where you feel like there are certain things that you have already dealt with. There's certain things you've already moved on from. There's certain things that you've healed from. And then we get into a space where sometimes those things come back on you, like they wake back up, and they come back to you. And all of a sudden there's a lot of confusion and you're questioning everything. And I was really in a space of that this past week, of really, really over giving, had really slacked out on my spiritual practices, which are what helped me in my recovery, which helped me continue to try to be uh, a, an even more a closer a closer to myself version of me, if that makes any sense. Just you know uh, um that's these practices are what help keep me there. And for quite a little while, I've just gotten lax with those practices. And seeping in little by little was my need to consume a lot of this media. And if you consume a lot of media, which is hard not to do in this time, if you consume a lot of that, a lot of times we don't really understand how it's affecting our energy. We don't understand how it's affecting us emotionally and spiritually, and how that then bleeds out and affects our life. And as we continue to watch these very short clips and bursts of other people's lives, we can find ourselves in a space where it's easy to assume that whatever you're watching, that person has it all together, and they're not going through deep, dark things like that. Even your most trusted spiritual teachers, it's hard to sometimes understand that humanity is humanity. And regardless of what it is that we are called here to heal, we're all going through something different. And and so as I got lost in all of that this week, and like I said, it's happened over time, little by little over time. I was in this very, very dark space where I was deeply questioning so much, so many personal things about myself, things that I felt like I was very secure and assured on, and just really wondering what the future looks like. And sometimes when we can't see what the future looks like, we have to kind of go back and rely on our heart and our intuition, and kind of that glimmer of hope that lives within us. And sometimes we have to dig deep to find it. And I actually reached out to two different friends of mine, in that space, two people that were very specific for reasons. That one has a very similar journey uh, as mine, and then another just because of what it is that who she is and what she does in her life. And those two people reminded me of some things, and that I want to take this moment to remind you of tonight, because it was profound. And it only took that one moment, it only took that reminding to shift me back into a place where I remembered who I am, that I remembered that this is what this is all for. And that in a certain way that I chose to be on this journey, and that I can still have hope that there is a very valuable reason in all of it. And one of the big things, I think that it's very, very important right now in the time of history that we are experiencing. And let us remember that there have been times like this, regardless of the fear that we're being fed right now. If we look back over history, there have been times, especially if you are in the US, in the United States. If you're in the United States, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But we need to look back over history when we were tempted to feel hopeless, and realize that each generation went through something to this magnitude. And they probably thought that their generation was probably the last generation, or they understood that shifts and changes had to occur. And because there is a real danger of feeling hopeless in this world right now. We're more divided than ever, and that is because everybody's scared shitless. There's so much extreme language that is happening and so many raw images that are being fed to us, bombarding us all the time unless we choose to put it down. There's so much of that. How in the world can we not be? And I guess one of the things that I brought this here to you all for is because I believe that the recovery community has a duty and a job in this time. And that is to show the world and extend each other the grace that it takes to be in recovery. Anyone who has been through a substance addiction has that's in a recovery in recovery, who has either reconnected with their family or created their own new family and are surrounded by people that love them. Either way it goes, we've had to experience and show grace. And I think what's missing in our whole entire human experience right now is grace. And if there's no community that has more grace to give than the recovery community. And I think we need to be reminded of that. I think we need to be reminded of who we are. I think we need to be reminded of what it takes for us when we embrace a newcomer, someone, because we all share this same beast within us. We all share this obsessive escaping mechanism, and we've all shared these places that have felt so shameful and guilty for us. We've all hurt people, but we share these things in common, and it causes us to embrace those that are still sick and suffering, those who come into different programs. It gives us the ability to accept them with grace right where they are, because we know that we have overcome certain places within us that told us we were not good enough. And we know, looking at these folks, that they can too. And see, right now in the world, it doesn't really matter who you vote for or who you're affiliated with or what you think is right, wrong, or indifferent, or what you call your God. That's not really the point right now. I believe the whole exercise and all of the wild and craziness that's going on, the biggest shift is that we have to come together as a human collective of people. And where the recovery community again plays a role is we know how to do that. And I think that we have gotten involved as well as everyone else in picking the sides that we think are the best. When in reality, this is a call for us to love everybody and each other. And it really shouldn't matter the other stuff. We have to accept the world, and we have to accept people with grace, and we have to show them that grace. Again, people are scared. Humanity is afraid right now, and so many people are reacting from that place of fear versus responding from a place of love and a place that living from their heart. And that's what we do here at Recovery Soul Food. Is we get up from our give up and we create a life we love. We create that life we love by living a life from our hearts. Not meaning being a pushover, not being in all of those trauma responses like people pleasing and all of that stuff. Not that. Not that. You know, it takes the heart of a warrior to love other people unconditionally with our boundaries. Because unconditional love is not pushover, is not being there for people to walk on or use. It's not being weak or timid. It's being strong enough to embrace those who are beside us, no matter what the differences are, no matter the journey that they're on. We have to do that. This is a time in history and recovery history where more forms and avenues of recovery are accepted today than ever before in history. Because so many of us got up and we stood out and we spoke out and we said there's more ways to recover than one. And that that sentence, that statement alone rang out into the world. And so now we have people in recovery all connected together from all over the world. You know, to speak of our friend Kim Bella, sober is the new cool. So many people are coming to a place of sobriety. Not necessarily they have to be in recovery, but people are coming to a place of sobriety because they want to be clear of thought, because they want to feel better. And we are at an exciting time. And yes, it's confusing. And yes, so many of us are going through some big life shakeups, but that's how things change. And that's why they're meant to change. And they're supposed to. And I don't think we get it perfect on how we go through it. But I do think that we get it perfect in going through it when we just offer grace to one another, when we just have an open when we just have this place in us that just wants to wrap people up in hope, to offer hope, regardless of who it is and how and what our differences are. Each human being alive on the earth today is alive by the same breath of creation that you are alive with. That same breath lives in someone else, that every person that you see that lives in you. And of that we all share. And of that is what we have to see more of than what their affiliations are, or what their preferences are, or how they love, or who they love, or their choices. And this is, this is hard to do. This means we got to disconnect from the algorithms that show us only perspectives that match our likes. That means we have to disconnect from that and reconnect to human beings, to reconnect one to another, to get back out there and start spreading a message of hope, to get back out there and make people see that no matter what, that you can get up from your give up and create a life you love. I'm not sharing that cliche. It is the absolute mantra that I live my own life by. And I'm so grateful today to have the type of friends that I can call on, that can lend me a message reminding me that I am a warrior, that I am on this journey, and that there is a valid and beautiful and valuable reason that I'm here like this right now experiencing all this. And I hope that somewhere in your life, whoever you are, who whenever you see this, I hope that you also have someone in your life that you can call on when you are, because there's no sense in going through the trenches alone. Trying to isolate, like I really was, not really necessarily knowing what to say or what to share, having that trauma response within me that says I don't want to reach out and do this. I don't want to burden anybody. All that stuff's a trauma response. And when we have something like that and we're feeling it within us to reach out to somebody, that is our intuition and our inner self wanting to connect with somebody else. And we've got to do that. We got to follow that. Not let our heads talk us out of that. Not let our trauma responses talk us out of burdening someone else. If you have a pure soul family around you, they're open to be there for you. Not for you to just, it's not necessary to just trauma dump all over somebody, but if you follow your heart, it'll lead you where you're supposed to go. And so that's all I really have to say about that. Let me share some amazing. I got to reach up. I was in a hurry tonight, so I didn't have all of my stuff together. But let me share some amazing resources with you. This is going to be a short meeting. I'm super exhausted from this week. It's been a hard week emotionally. It's been a hard week physically, and there's just more yet to come. So this is going to be a short message tonight, and I hope that the message of unity in our community is so necessary, and I hope that it inspires you to reach out to somebody else who you think is isolated or by themselves, or somebody you know is really, really struggling. Help people understand and help yourself. Help yourself disconnect. If you start to recognize that you're starting to become way more reactive than normal, if you recognize that you're starting to, uh, you know, get in arguments, or you're starting to overly identify with whatever it is that you're in, you're consuming through the media or throughout the mess that we're looking at right now. If you find yourself physically reacting to that, disconnect, because only you have the power to pull the plug on that which is hurting you from the inside out. I get it. I had to do the same dadgum thing. I had to. It's so easy to slip over into a place of fear, and it's so easy to want to live your life from a reactive state. And you may think it's just about this one subject, but it's not. It bleeds out into your life. It bleeds out into your life. And I just know that I've said this since I started doing this in, I think it was 2016. When I first started doing this, I said that the recovery community was being prepared for something massive. It was growing its army. It's being prepared to be a light unto the world. I didn't necessarily know that this would be what it would look like, but I knew that it was going to be our job to grow this connected community to the size that it can make a difference. You have a voice. You are important. That voice is important. I don't care if you're on a mountain alone with nobody neighbors for 30 miles in Appalachia, or if you're in downtown Los Angeles or the most populated cities in the world. Your voice matters. And you, with that voice and your heart, can change a life. And I hope that you understand that. And I hope that you get out and do that. We can disconnect from the fear mongering media, and we can reconnect with each other. And that's the bottom line. And that's the truth. And that's how we're going to make it through this. That's how we're going to absolutely help each other, help ourselves survive. Because it doesn't really matter about the other stuff. What we have to do is come together and learn to survive together. And if you're in the recovery community, you know how to do that. You can welcome people that are different than you. You can embrace people that are different than you, because you know that you share this massive thing in common. And all of humanity shares this massive thing called creation in common. And we should honor that in one another. Okay, I said all that. Let's see. Wow. Well, I love that. Okay. So real quick before I get to some comments, because I have recognized that when I listen back to the audio of this show, that I don't announce that I'm going to read comments and respond to them online, and it just leaves this crazy little pause in the audio version, and it's just a mess. So first, I want to share some amazing resources with you before I end this video. These are some of my favorite things of 2024. These are some of my greatest resources, and plenty of my favorite humans. And so, first one, as per usual, one of my favorite books of this entire, I read this last year and this year. I love this book so much. It's my good friend Pamela Topjian's book. I didn't come this far to only come this far. It is her true story of my own journey through a life of betrayal, abuse, and neglect, of peace, love, and freedom. Amen. Amen. You can pick this book up along with her second book, Behind the Mask, Gloves, and Scrubs, One Nurse's Journey, where Pamela has just a beautiful ability to tell her story in such an inspirational and informative and motivating way. I want you to go to Amazon.com/Pamela Topjian. For those on the audio, that is PAMELATOPJIAN. Go get these books. Look at a lot of her. She has so many amazing original artwork pieces, journals. She is an amazing holistic healer. She specializes in hypnotherapy. You can partake in some of the things, the beautiful visualizations and hypnosis that she has put up on her YouTube channel at youtube.com/at Pamela Topjian. Spelled exactly the same. same person. Go check those things out. She's got a great guided visualization for overcoming cravings. So if you're having cravings, go check her out. It's an amazing, amazing channel. She's an amazing human and a beautiful part of my life and this community. We love Pamela Topjian. Thank you, sister. All right. Next up, we've got one of my favorite resources of 2024. It is the Tao Te Ching by my good friend, the Recover Yourself Recovery Mentor, Mr. MartinJohn.com. This is a labor of love for him, and it's taken him many years to extract the wisdom that he's gained from the Tao Te Ching, add it to all 81 original verses of the Tao Te Ching with his wisdom attached to it. It's pocket sized. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing resource. I use it as a devotional. It's just beautiful. You can pick that up at martinjohn.com. For those on the audio, it is martinjon.com. Make sure that you can tell him that LC and Recovery Soul Food sent you. All right. Last but certainly not least, our brother, my brother from another mother, it is Maddie Jablonski's Poetry of Change. The Point of Change is just an amazing creation by an amazing human being called Maddie Jablonski. I love this kid so much. I'm so proud of him. This is a small little book you can get on Amazon.com/poetry of change, all together, no spaces. But it is a brilliant and unique way that he has told his story about his addiction and recovery. And I love it. And I'm so proud of him. Y'all pick those resources up, and everywhere you can when you order them, make sure you tell them that Recovery Soul Food sent you. All right, I'd like to read a couple of these comments, and then I'm going to get out here for this night. Let y'all rest. I'm going to let myself rest. Let's see. All right, Pamela. Since 2020, life was steadily climbing up for me, getting better each year. This year, there's been some personal and professional disappointments and concerns. Amen, sis. Amen. It's been the strangest thing. And I know that we're being prepared for something. Isn't it? I love the part in my own healing journey, and I think you can concur. I love that at this point in my life, no matter how dark it gets, there is still that I just keep going back to the word faith, because that's what the real meaning of faith is that you just have this hope and faith that you are being prepared for something, because that's what it has unfolded. And so I appreciate you sharing that, Pamela, because, you know, you've done so much in your life that it would be tempting for someone just to look at your life and think that you figured it all out and you've got it all together. And little secret here, everybody, nobody has it like that, because we're all on a human journey. So thank you for that open and honest share. I completely resonate there with that. I recently had someone tell me that they didn't realize how much time drinking every night took away from their life until they were sober. It is, I just had this brief conversation with my nephew today, and we were talking about the entrepreneurial spirit of drug addiction, and just how much time all of it takes from our lives, and just how much effort it takes to get and maintain these things. I applaud people that are getting sober in their lives for their health and for their journey and for their healing and their clarity of mind. And I appreciate them sharing that part of their journey as well, because we get lost in thinking that the the journey's not important if it didn't go all the way to the bottom. And thank God that people aren't having to go all the way to the bottom of different addictions and things to want to just get to a space. That means to me that since the year 2016, when all of this online recovery first really started, when we were still not really all inclusive of recovery paths of what makes you healthier equals recovery. You know, it was just not this widespread. And this just means that we are succeeding in opening this gateway in this door and making recovery the epidemic. That was what we started to do. That was the tagline in 2016, make recovery the epidemic, and I believe that we're doing that. So, if nothing else, that brings hope. That brings hope. And I love that. I'm grateful that you shared that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pamela. All right. Thank you so much too, as always, for being here and being active in the chat and just being a great part of my life. My soul sister, my friend. Make sure give a shout out to Chip Dip, who I hope is somewhere just being well and living his best life. All right, everybody, you know what to do. You can follow us on recovery. Let's see, on Instagram at recovery_soul food. You can follow us on TikTok at recovery soul food. Please head to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Please become a subscriber. Like the video, I'm trying to grow that. I am on the verge of a milestone that and achieving a goal that I set for myself when I first almost thought was impossible when I first started the channel a few years ago. We're close to that. That's because of all of you. We got to get our subscriber numbers up. So if you can, go to youtube.com/ at recovery soul food and become a new subscriber. You can also help us keep going and growing by becoming a monthly monetary supporter or giving a one-time donation. I think that I'll have to put the link somewhere to do that, but it's real easy. You can go to www.anchor.fm. That's ANCHOR.FM / recovery soul food. You can click the support button and pick a package that works for your budget. They have packages from 99 cents, and I think the most expensive is $9.99 a month. That helps us pay for the streaming services, helps me pay for the digitals, and it just, again, helps us keep growing and going. And I appreciate all of you who are already there doing that. Thank you so much. It just means the world to me. All right, guys. I love you guys so much. Hopefully next week I'll be able to pick back up with our 10-part series. We'll be in year 7. I'm still just searching through year 7. There was so many things that happened then. Going through loss, transitions, and many different things. So I'm still really trying to get clear on that and know what I want to share and what's the most important to share about it. So don't give up on that. Hopefully we'll be back next week. I'm gearing up for one of the most amazing seasons of Recovery Soul Food. Season 6 is coming up with some amazing guests. We're going to kick that off in the fall, and I can't wait. But until then, you just have the best and most amazing week ever. Keep yourself grounded. Keep yourself in responding versus reacting. And remember, unplug from the fear and live your life from your heart. Okay, until next time, I love you guys.